What is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm James.
And I'm Ant.
How are you doing this week, guys?
You know, so we didn't look at us on purpose that time.
I saw it. Don't worry. I think I'm accustomed to it now. I don't think you'll ever be able to put me off. So.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted, yeah.
Go for it.
But how am I? Yes, I'm good, mate. 28 days.
28 days at the day of recording. That's
Exactly.
right. Exactly 28 days.
Exactly.
4 weeks. Damn. It's creeping up.
It is.
Creeping
It
up.
is.
Are you excited?
Yes.
Because I think when we recorded last week, it was like a calendar month, but now it's 28 days. It confuses me because 4 weeks is a month.
It doesn't take
But
much,
in
ladies
this
and gentlemen.
It's weird because like a couple of weeks ago, you and me were like 100 days. And now it's literally down to like 28 already. How crazy is that?
Yeah, it's mental. But I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good
absolutely,
thing because now they're starting to announce things for Expo, which I'm getting excited about. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. That's going to be like next week or something like that. Today, I wanted to talk about what we do to prepare for going to an Expo and any recommendations we have for maybe first-timers going to Expo specifically, but I guess if you've got stuff for just conventions in general.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of the stuff I've bullet pointed down here would be something I'd say, it doesn't matter which one you go into, I would do these things. So yeah, have you sort of had a think about it over the past few days, Ant?
Yeah, I mean, I've conjured up a lovely list here of some of the things that I experienced at last year's Expo.
Nice.
So hopefully we can pass that knowledge on to hopefully people that have gone before or first time going.
Very nice. James, what preparation have you done for this one?
I have done the exact same preparation I do when I'm going to Expo, Jason, which is panic.
Excellent. Excellent. So what we're going to say right off the bat is take no advice from James throughout this episode. I'm now thinking that this episode is actually us giving advice to James as opposed to...
I don't know. I think he'll throw in something every now and then.
Advice that I won't follow. It's like,
No, you won't.
I will pack the night before, not have a clue what I'm doing, and just stumble into the hole going, oh, I'm here.
Yeah, I can definitely
I'll
see
go
that.
where he's going.
I mean, I guess this is a good thing with me doing a lot of the organising, right? Is you don't have to worry about that. And more importantly, I don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because sod leaving anything up to you. I don't think we're going to Expo, and like we end up in like Scotland or something.
This isn't Birmingham.
This place is nice.
I think we went too far north.
Yeah, it's when you go steaming through Birmingham on the train, is it?
I swear
James,
that's
what?
one.
Let me see the ticket that you bought. Oh, director. Oh, okay. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. So first bit of advice is never let James do the organising when you're going to it.
I can organise just fine. That's the reason I'm so blasé about it, is because you immediately jump in and go, I'll do everything, and I go, cool, sorted.
Yeah, that's fair. Obviously, this is the first year you're coming with us, Anne.
Yes, it is.
You've
Very
obviously been
excited.
before, but
Yes.
not. Well, we've met you there. We've not actually been together. We're staying in the same hotel this year.
Yep.
Going to be doing lots of gaming this year, which is going to be good. How have you found the build up to it so far?
Very slow.
Yeah?
Very, very slow. I mean, compared to last year, there was a lot more at time of recording now, more announced,
Yeah.
like certain games or certain people, certain companies, certain stands. We're kind of finding it's gradually come at very last minute this year. And I don't know if there's more to come still. Hopefully there is. But, you know, like you said earlier, there's stuff only just starting to come out now and get a bit more excited every day, and something else is getting announced per day now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, even just before we went live, you obviously was having a look at the old Book of Face. And
Yes.
there was a post from Yellow about Unmatched and the new sets being there. So
and they're all going to be there.
Yeah, my wallet's already taken a hit and I'm not even there yet. So
That's what that was, jumping out the window.
yes, yeah, it's already on its way there. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks, but I think we should just crack on, really, and start with some things that we recommend. So, Ant, you have a bit of a list. I have a bit of a list. James has nothing. So
I'm sure he's got something.
he'll jump in at some point, I'm sure. So, I put that down on my list. Yeah. So what's first on your list, Ant?
So I've put down deals with certain vendors. So last year, scoping around all the other vendors and stuff, certain games are very differently priced and quite a bit sometimes compared to other vendors. For example, before we started the recording, I was telling you about I was trying to find a copy of Marvel Love Letter.
Yes.
And one vendor I saw had it for £15. And I thought, well, that's a bit pricey for a Love Letter game, but, just moved along. Literally, the vendor next door had it for £10, So it's worth just having a scope around, guys, before you make a purchase, because you probably will find it cheaper either in the other hall or literally, like I said, the vendor next door might have something completely different price-wise. Just don't go spending straight away is my first bit of advice.
I mean, I'd say also I would 100% agree with that. Obviously, if you're talking about maybe the hotness of the show, then chances are if you decide to shop around, it's going to sell out everywhere.
Oh, yeah,
so in that instance, it's kind of just a case
the hotness
of
will go on Thursday.
Providing it's not like crazy expensive and overpriced, then it's worth just buying it right then and there.
I mean, £5 a difference in there, that's lunch,
something towards lunch.
Something towards it,
We'll get to that.
Exactly,
we'll get to that one. But I think really when we talk about pricing, is something I've got on my list here. But before I go into the pricing part of it, one of the key things I recommend is if you are going with the intent of purchase, it doesn't hurt to do a little bit of research on pricing before you go.
Absolutely.
So, for example, you're going for Marvel Love Letter. We're going in 2 weeks' time. Have a quick peruse on Google or wherever you buy your online stuff and sort of see what's the prices there, because it'll give you a rough idea of what you're happy to pay when you're there, because it is an expo. Things can be artificially inflated.
Yeah.
And I think that's something you ideally want to avoid, and I'm pretty sure everyone wants to try and avoid that. So, a little bit of research goes a long way with the prices.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one, because you expect a certain amount of markup because it's an expo.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got an idea of the standard price or what the market price is, then you know whether it's been marked up a little bit because it's an expo or whether it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I would say from experience, though, and I know, James, you've been sort of going around with me the past couple of years where we've sort of been looking at the pricing. And it's like, for the most part, you don't really see games at the discounted rates or whatever, which is fine. But by the same token, you very rarely see games that are above the recommended retail price, right? They're all that sort of RRP price.
Yep.
But I don't know if you found any. I mean, obviously, Marvel Love Letter probably is around the £15-20 mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an example, but if other companies are going to take £5 off it, I'll take it. I think there's another one I was after. I think was Power Rangers Deck Builder.
Yeah,
which is usually like £25, and I found a vendor for 15. So it is worth looking around.
Yeah, so the deals are there.
Yeah,
if you can find them, it's worth having a look around. But obviously, if someone else comes upon that bargain before you,
this is the issue. Yeah,
they're going to know it's a bargain. They'll probably buy it.
Yeah. That's why you should look it up, like you said.
I think really, when you're talking about companies, we'll use the Deck Builder as an example.
Yeah.
If they're selling it at quite a substantial amount less, they've probably only got 1 or 2 copies of it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be...
Or they're just trying to get rid of it.
Oh, yeah, there is that. Yeah, there is that.
Leading on from that, I have one, which is if you're there on the last day, that's definitely a good time to go around and look for a bargain. Because
100%.
All of these people who are running stands, they don't want to be taking stock back.
Yeah.
Want to take less back.
If you're probably, like Jason mentioned earlier, you're probably not going to find the hotness because that's probably gone.
Oh yeah.
But if there's a game you're looking for, it's definitely worth looking for a bargain on. Well, in the case of Expo, on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Because those vendors will not want to be carting stock home.
Yeah, 100%. When I'm talking about my purchases, if I'm there for the full weekend, Sunday afternoon, just before I leave, is usually when I start going around looking for like war game scenery for our game club.
Yeah.
Because again, it's quite hefty stuff, especially the big MDF kits. TT Combat, they're fantastic on their last day, just smashing the price down because they just can't be bothered to reload it in the van.
Yeah, and it's that goes for a lot of the stands. Like I said, they don't want to drag it home. They've come with a certain amount of stock. with the expectation of getting rid of that stock at the expo.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, if they can make a sale, they're making money. If they're not making a sale, they're not making the money that they need. And of course, for them to have these stands at Expo costs a lot of money. So the more money they can make, the easier they are at making that cost a little bit more worth it. So yeah, I think pricing wise is definitely do your research in advance. If you're not buying the hotness, have a look around, because there are lots of different vendors, lots of different prices. Some of them may only be a couple of quid here and there. But, for example, Waterstones are there this year. But you'll also have the likes of Zatu there. So chances are there'll be a game on the Waterstone stand that will actually be cheaper on the Zatu stand. But then by retrospective, that same game might be even cheaper on the Thirsty Meeple stand.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth walking around.
I mean, I'm having recollections of last year when you were on the hunt for Earth.
Yes.
And even then, as the hotness, there were some stands that had quite a variance in pricing. Yeah. Like some were higher, but there were a few that were lower.
Yeah.
I remember you kicking yourself because you found one that was about £15 cheaper, but you ummed and ahed about it, and then it went.
Yeah, exactly. And they only ever had like 1 or 2 copies of it. So, yes. Yeah, I do regret that. But there you go. So part of my other thing that I have here was with the planning side of things, which is most conventions, especially the big ones, in the build up to it, as we've said, start releasing information. They have a lot of them will have like a layout map of the entire thing. And for me, I think using that information, you should be planning your must-sees of the expo. So, for example, if there's a particular game you want to demo, make sure you know where the stand is, what the stand number is. I think expos is done by name, isn't it? Like the aisles are done by name.
Right, yes, yeah.
And then you get individual stand numbers as well. So that's the kind of thing you want to do. Same with buying. Maybe there's a particular game you want to buy. It's being sold by the publisher and no one else. You need to know where that publisher is to make a beeline for that stand.
Those maps are super helpful as well.
They are.
I mean, I remember like trying to get a couple of demo sessions in, and you forget where the place is, but you've got the map there that, it's this way, let's go straight down and whatnot.
Exactly,
so,
yeah. And when you are going there for the hotness, that's definitely something you need to do, because
definitely,
if you want the hotness, I mean, every company is different, but a lot of them will allocate games per day, much like Earth did last year. There was an allocation of set amount of games per day so that they didn't all sell out on the first day. But the trick is here, they will sell out, and they will sell out damn quickly. So if you want the hotness, know where the stands are. That's where you're going first. Yeah, be prepared to run.
Honestly, the amount of time I've known Jason is one of the only times I have ever seen him run.
Yes, indeed. And
I've only ever seen him run once, and that was 10 years ago.
And yeah, you will see people sprinting when those gates open first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, speaking as a person who last year was my first con, I definitely agree with this. Not just for getting the hotness and that, but when we talk about Expo, the NEC is a monster.
It is, yes.
And if it is your first time at a con, you will be overwhelmed very quickly by just the sheer amount of stuff that is in there.
Yeah, and the volume of people.
And so it is very important, I would say, to at least have a general idea of what is there, where stuff is.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And, talking about the volume of people and the volume of stands.
Yeah.
Expo in the UK is it's 3 halls?
Yeah. Technically 3, yeah.
2 exhibition halls and a gaming hall, and then I think they use a 4th hall for the ticketing. But, the 2 expo halls alone are where the bulk of it is happening. And, last year there was 31,000 people at UK Games Expo. Previous year, 24,000. So we can feasibly expect that that's going to go up this year.
Oh yeah, it'll go up every year.
You could be talking close to 40,000 people this year. And that sort of leads me on to sort of one of the things that I personally do, which of course is pick my days about what I do on what days. For example, I try my hardest not to go anywhere near the exhibition halls on a Saturday because that's the busiest day.
Yeah, and it's crowded. Another piece of advice that I would have if you're going with a group of people, it is conceivable that at some point throughout the weekend, you're all going to want to do different things.
Mm-hmm.
Find a landmark so you know where to meet.
Yeah, that's always wise. Yeah. And the NEC is really good for that as well, isn't it? Because obviously it's like a big circle, isn't it?
It's like a big circle, but when you first get there, like I know, for example, for us, we use the Games Workshop stands as a landmark because they got that giant Space Marine statue, which you can see no matter where you are in the exhibition hall. So it is just sort of like, right, Jason wants to do this, I want to do this, Anne wants to do this. It's going to take about an hour. So in an hour, we meet back by the Space Marine statue.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter where you are in that hall.
You know where you're going.
You know where you're going because you can see it. So definitely, if you're going to split up as a group, pick an easily identifiable landmark for you all to meet back with. Otherwise, you will spend the whole day trying to find each other.
Yeah, and the first bit of advice really with that is not the toilets.
No.
Because they are pretty generic. It's like, oh, yeah, we'll meet by the toilets. Okay.
Which
hang on a
ones?
minute. Which ones?
It's an exhibition centre. There's loads of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
To make it a unique landmark.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that before. People say, oh, yeah, we'll meet back at the toilets at this time. Okay, yeah, cool. Not thinking, and then, hang on
it's not even that. Even if you sort of like, say, pick the ones by the stairs to the train station, it's very easy to get lost in there and turned around and not actually be able to find your way back to that particular place.
Yep.
So it's like I said, I pick an easily identifiable landmark that you can see no matter where you are. Like I said, we use the Space Marine statue.
Yeah. Don't be stealing that from us, though. 'Cause that's our landmark.
Yeah. Why is there a large cluster of people here?
We don't never this popular.
We don't want to buy anything, Games Workshop. We're using a
just a
statue as a reference point.
I bet they would love that. They'd have a field day. Was like, oh my God, we're really busy. What's going on? Hang on a minute. We're really busy, but none of these people want to buy anything.
Well, it's just an average Games Workshop store then.
Yeah, this is very, very true. Yes. So landmark, unique landmark. Very, very good idea. Now, this one is a bit more, I guess, UK Games Expo centric, and that is revolving around the bring and buy section of the UK Games Expo. We have quite a large pre-owned section which you can go in. And for those that haven't been before, it's worthy to note that it is cash only. And as such, one of my recommendations is if you want to buy something from the bring and buy, or you know you want to buy something in cash, bring it with you to the venue, because the cash machines that are there are usually empty by about 8 o'clock in the morning.
I didn't use them last year. Do they charge?
They do indeed charge.
Yeah, that's another reason.
Another good reason.
No reason not to do it.
Yes. And yeah, they being a weekend as well, once they are empty on the Friday, that's it. They don't get refilled. So bring cash with you, 100%. And obviously, a lot of the other vendors take cash anyway. So even if you don't want to go in the bring and buy to buy lots of pre-owned games.
So not every vendor just takes cards. There are some that are cash only.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, we say that it's like, especially here where we're talking about UK Games Expo and the UK in general. If you're from the UK, it's not really a bother to redeposit the money if you don't spend it.
No.
But it's always, handy to have some cash on you because, like Jason said, the bring and buy is definitely cash only. Quite a few of the vendors will be cash only.
Yep. Yeah, especially the smaller ones, because obviously they tend to be a much smaller business. They don't necessarily have the facilities to set up a card.
Yeah, I mean,
machine.
You will slowly see more and more of those small businesses using like the same card facilities we have. That's opened up card payments for a lot of small businesses, but a lot of them are still.
Yeah, but talking to Ant actually before we went live, while we were waiting for you to turn up, is one thing I noticed last year was phone signal and Wi-Fi signal in there is
not great,
and it's not great at the best of times. So those card systems are notoriously unreliable.
Yeah.
So while a lot of those companies may have that,
if
it might be an idea to have that cash.
If it goes down, cash is king.
Exactly. We can talk about that because obviously last year the bar, the actual bar in the gaming area
I mean,
went down, didn't it? 2 days.
That was a.
Oh wow, there you go.
That was a serious. I mean, that wasn't just a Wi-Fi thing. That was their entire till system because they couldn't even take cash.
No, because obviously they had, again, it was very much like the till system we use, which even if you're taking cash requires
The internet.
an internet upload to make the system work. So yeah, of course, they just had really poor signal, and then the Wi-Fi went down as well. That was it. They were done for the weekend, and I can only assume that
And all that money they paid for that spot as well. Probably lost out a lot of money.
And being a bar, I'd imagine that they had an overinflated rental cost for that space as well.
Most definitely.
So yeah, cash is definitely king, and it kind of helps you budget as well, doesn't it? Really, if you're
Totally.
Yeah.
But never with me.
No. I always say the same thing: as I'm going to take this cash and I'm going to leave my card at home. Then I don't leave the card at home, spend the cash, and go, better put it on the card then.
Yep, that's a shame.
It's like, this money's going to last me all day.
No.
5 minutes in. No.
Yeah.
Oh, where did that go?
Exactly.
I'm sure I had money a minute ago.
Yep. So expensive hobby. Lots of expensive games around, so money does go quite quickly, but also food.
Yes.
Yes.
Food. Let's talk about food, shall we? Human requirement, I guess, is food consumption and drink consumption. How do you find the food and drink at Expo, Han?
The sustenance there.
Yes, the sustenance.
I kind of had a bit of a weird experience of it. So
Okay.
they tend to have like the NEC version of a co-op in there.
Yes.
So for me personally, I was just buying like snacks in there, to be honest, just to get through. And then I would have like a proper meal when I got back to my B&B at the time or whatever it was. So I didn't really go to any Subway or anything. I think only one day there was a Nando's like further out of the NEC, further down. That's the only time the only takeaway I really had that weekend. So yeah.
It's probably wise. You probably saved a fair bit, but I'm guessing the little on-site co-op thing was slightly more expensive than normal.
I mean, like for a packet of crisps and like a pepperami was like nearly £6 or something ridiculous.
Blimey.
So just be prepared if you're buying in the NEC, it will be overpriced regardless.
It's one of those things that it's like it's out of the way. It's an exhibition centre.
Yeah.
Of course, the price is inflated.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like a tiered pricing thing there, isn't it? It's like if you're going to be using the vendors that are actually in the games hall, for example, expect them to be the highest prices.
Yep.
Understandably, because it's convenience, right? Just because it's the highest prices doesn't mean it's going to be particularly filling, because that's one of the comments I have, is there was very little there that I found actually provided me with the sustenance I needed.
I love how you say
the sustenance that I needed for the duration of the day.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, hang on a minute, now I'm buying 2 lots of food. Not ideal, really, at those inflated prices.
Not.
You obviously can come out of the venue. The NEC themselves have some built-in things. You have things like the Subway chain in there. There's a Weatherspoons, which are slightly cheaper, but also inflated compared to normal high street. And as I was saying to Anne, it's like Subway is the perfect example. Because when you come out the exhibition hall, there's a Subway there. If you go up the train station, up towards the train station, the escalators, at the top of the escalators, there's another Subway. It is always quiet, and it is about £2 per sub cheaper than the one at the bottom of the escalators. But it is literally an escalator's difference.
People don't want to walk far, mate.
I'm giving away some golden tips here, but
it's going to be packed now because of you.
Well, yeah, of course.
Your little hotspot.
But it's worth it.
Yep. And then obviously if you want to go a little bit further out, you've obviously got Resort World as well.
Yes, of course, which is just a gigantic shopping centre. So you have everything at sort of usual high street prices.
Yeah.
But there's a far better selection of sit-down restaurants. I think we went to Pizza Express last year, if I remember correctly. I can't remember.
Yeah, we went to Pizza Express.
There's a Hollywood Bowl there as well, which serve very, very good alcoholic beverages at very reasonable prices.
Yep.
And they have a full-size Hungry Hungry Hippos game.
Yes. They did last year.
Well, they did last year. I really better be there this year. Especially, I don't want to speak too soon, touch wood and all that, but my back is a lot better this year, so I'll actually be able to do it.
Fingers crossed.
And last but not least, you have the street food over by the Hilton.
Yeah, see, the street food, again, very, very tasty. I will say that. We really, really did enjoy some of the street food there. That one, for me, though, is far better if you're gaming in the Hilton.
Yes.
Till the wee hours of the morning, because a lot of it will stay open quite
I was
late.
going to say, does it stay open? Yeah.
Especially the cheese toasty stand. It's actually the cheapest stand.
It
over
better
the
be for a
whole
cheese
Expo.
toasty.
But they're really good, thick, proper cheese
Right.
toasties. Really, really nice. But you know that's pretty good for a cheap meal, or it's 1:45 in the morning. I've just finished my game. I don't really want to. I'm a little bit peckish, so I'm going to have one of those, and then I'm going to go home to bed, or back into the hall to game some more. Which is more often than not what you would do. So yeah, that's a really good place. Again, inflated prices. It is a vendor's, not overly filling, but very nice nonetheless. I want to talk about drinks specifically though, because it's a huge recommendation I have, and it's a stupid one to have to say really, but keeping hydrated when you're there. Those halls get exceptionally hot.
The amount of people are in there.
Yeah.
It will be, won't it?
Hot, especially on those on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Take a bottle of water with you. There are free fountains to refill your bottles of water. If you're buying bottles of water there, they are horrendously expensive.
Yeah.
I know from being someone who actually sells water for a living, the bottles that they're selling, they probably buy for about 15 pence, and they're selling them for nearly £4 a bottle. So, and they're not big bottles either, right? They are just 500ml
100
bottles.
mils,
So
yeah.
bring a bottle with you, even if it's a plastic 500ml bottle, just refill it.
Or a flask even.
Or flask.
Or flask, yeah. If they've got refillables.
Yeah. If you really want to save the money, you can bring food with you. They're not going to stop you from bringing food in. Just be aware that seating is a premium. So if you're going to try and sit down in one of the indoor food courts and eat food that you haven't purchased, you might be asked to move.
Can you eat in the gaming room?
You can eat in the gaming room.
You can.
Yes. Yeah.
There's
So I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you had to go somewhere else to do that.
It'd be upsetting if you can't, considering there's food vendors in there.
No, I get that, but I thought you had to go out and take it out somewhere, because I think you have to do that in Essen. If you go there, it's always got to be on an outdoor bit.
Yeah.
So you can't actually take them in the hall.
I believe Essen, from what I've been told, is quite a bit different in that.
No, I know, but I didn't know if they had the same rules as Essen, like if you had to go
As
outside.
far as I'm aware, I've seen people eating in the gaming room.
Yeah,
with no
They're
problems whatsoever.
literally, like when we were there, where that bar that broke down was, right next to it was a hot dog stand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I think there was a mini Subway there as well, from what I remember.
Yep.
Was it £2 more?
That was even more.
That would
Right,
have
that was even more.
Yeah, because it was literally like gaming table, Subway.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And it was like a wheelie stand. It wasn't like an actual Subway or anything like that. But so drinks, 100%. Stay hydrated. Drink ideally water, because fizzy stuff don't hydrate you. I made this mistake, and I continue to make this mistake every year. I like having the energy of a sugary drink, but within 20 minutes of drinking a sugary drink, I'm then feeling dehydrated again, which is when I end up going for my bottle of water. So, yes, water, more water.
Do you think he's doing that as a sale pitch because he sells water for a living?
I was more thinking, on the subject of water, Jason, can we just get you to bring some bottles?
That would make sense, right?
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah, I might speak to the boss, see if I can set up a remote stand for the week.
Make a fair bit of money for a weekend, mate.
It would. Probably make more than even make in the year, to be fair. That's because I have brains. What else have you got on your list, Ant?
So a little bit of advice, and I don't know if anyone's aware of this. I'm sure you two do, but I was after a specific expansion for a game when I was out there, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I stumbled upon Games Law's stand and asked them if they had it. Said they don't have it in stock, but if I was going to be at the event the next day, this was a Saturday, so they were going to bring it Sunday, their stock room was not far from where NEC was.
Of course, yeah.
So they actually had it there, and they would bring it tomorrow, the next day. Didn't have to pay anything up front, just had to give my name and number, and literally came back on Sunday. It was there. I got it. So it's worth, if you can't find what you're looking for, speak to them and see if they can do something for you. Because I wasn't aware that their headquarters was not far from where they were, so they could just go home and get it.
Even companies like Zatu and that, they were doing deliveries every single day. Like they had vans shuttling backwards and forwards to their location, and they're miles away.
No, there you go.
A lot. I heard similar stories all throughout the weekend. They will move mountains, and that's not far from a thing, to get you what you want because they want the sale.
Yeah, and they want, like you said, it's like they want to get rid of their stock.
Yeah, definitely.
But as Jason said as well, like the amount they pay for the stand, it's sort of like what they don't want to just flat out turn around to you and go, "No, sorry, we ain't got it." It's this is a potential sale. It's, well, yes, the warehouse is an hour down the road, but if I can get it here and you'll give me some money, then...
Exactly. Makes sense.
Exactly.
It's win-win for them. You get what you want and they get money.
Yeah, definitely.
I've also got, I don't know if you're going to bring a bag.
Oh, yes.
Because most of these companies won't give you a carry bag or they'll overcharge you for a tote bag.
Of course.
So
yeah, it won't be a plastic bag. It'll be a proper tote bag.
So I would recommend bringing some sort of sports bag with you, or if you've got one of those actual board game bags, bring it with you. You're going to be buying loads.
You see people walking around with those gigantic IKEA bags as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
They're one of the best things that you see there. The bright blue and white bags of IKEA.
Which literally everyone who was doing Bring and Buy was doing that.
Oh, hell yeah.
And the IKEA bag. What else I got? I've also put at least try out some demos if you're there.
Yes.
One of my favorite games of last year was a demo from Expo, and if I hadn't have played it, I wouldn't have known that game was around or even tested it, tried it, and it'd be my favorite game of last year. So there might be something there for you, and if you actually really enjoy it, those companies might actually have it in stock for you at the same time. So
you never know.
It is worth a demo. Yeah, worth a try.
Again, I think that sort of goes back into what we were saying earlier about doing the research as well. Know the games that you do want to demo 100%. I know that this year there are games that I want to demo while we're there. Last year didn't demo many games.
We didn't.
But this year I want that to change. You obviously have the playtesting arena as well, where you've got the really early access.
I was actually going to bring that up as a sort of plan thing. If you've got time, definitely go in there.
Yes.
See what's about. Because I know last year, Paul, our newsman, was demoing a game in there.
Yep.
And a lot of the guys who are in there are indie developers who are desperately looking for feedback for their games.
Of course, yeah.
So, yeah, go in, give their games a try, give them some honest feedback.
Yeah.
Also, just flat out talk to these companies. Yeah. I mean, if I hadn't have spoken to one of the guys who did Distilled, I wouldn't have bought that game there and there.
No.
I couldn't get a chance. So I managed to get a demo for myself, but I couldn't get anyone else to join me on it. So I just said to him, look, just tell me how it plays. And then they showed me the mechanic of how you distill a drink and whatnot. Yeah. And I was like intrigued from that. So I just bought it flat out then and there. So it's worth just chatting to these people.
100%. And because if you hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have played it.
Exactly.
James wouldn't have played it. And, I now own it.
There you go.
I love that game.
You're welcome.
It's one of my favourite games. Thank you very much. 100%. Speak to the guys on the stands. Obviously, I guess that is a little bit of advice. Don't waste the time of people on the stands because it is incredibly busy. They've got a lot of people that will want to speak to them. Speak to them if you're genuinely interested, but don't hold them up if you have zero intention or even interest.
No, of course.
In the games that they're pitching. There are a lot of party games that will be there, especially the indie developers. They're trying to get you involved. I'm very upfront and honest. There's like, look, I can tell you now it's not the type of game for me.
Yeah.
I'll listen to your pitch and then I'll make an assessment.
But if it's something you're contemplating, you'll hear them out.
Exactly. Yeah. And, I'm listening to you because I want to make an assessment as to whether it is worth my time to sit down and learn this game with you and then figure out if I like the game. If what you're telling me is not selling me the game, then we're already on an uphill battle. There's no point in me spending my time, your time, to sit down and learn this game. Because if you haven't sold it to me in words, you're not going to sell it to me by teaching me the game. So,
exactly.
Don't waste the time of yours or the stand staff. It's really annoying that I feel I have to say it, but respect the staff that are there.
Yeah, because they're all volunteers in today, aren't they? Yeah.
Everyone you see at Expo or most conventions for that matter, they're all volunteers.
And I was going to bring this up actually.
And a lot of them are unpaid volunteers.
Yeah, because so basically I went to an event the Saturday night there, and I didn't realise you had to take your ticket with you essentially.
Of course, yeah.
Because you have a ticket for that event, so why would you need to? But anyway, long story short, they printed out my ticket there and there for me. They were really good and really helpful with everything. And for people that aren't getting paid for this event to help out, they were extraordinary, hands down. One of the best staff I've ever had. Yeah,
100%. And it's not an easy job. We know quite a few of the volunteers that do Expo, and it is very, very draining. At the end of the day, when they say it's closed, it's closed. You need to get out.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they've been working solidly for, 10 hours at that point. because, it's not just when the doors are open, right? They've worked probably for a good hour to 2 hours
Start setting
before
up and everything, yeah.
the doors have opened. They have to clean it all up afterwards. It's an hour to 2 hours after the door closes. Then they get to go and relax for the evening, or even play some games if they want to. But the point is, just respect them. There was an issue last year, I believe, with the bring and buy, and there was a lot of reports with people, really laying into the staff. It's like, it's not their fault.
No.
They're not being paid to deal with your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if my memory serves as well, and full respects to both the staff and the people in the queue, I believe they had a bit of an issue when we turned up on Thursday.
With the ticketing.
With the actual tills. Again, I think it was
it was an internet
issue. It was
issue.
an NEC internet issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, full respects to them. They kept us all informed. So they were constantly coming in and updating the people in the queue.
Which most companies don't do.
And again, full respects to the people in the queue for not kicking off.
Yeah, exactly.
And they fixed the situation quite quickly as well, didn't they?
Yeah,
so they were pretty good on that.
Yeah. So you're talking about the queue. Expect queues.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Expect queues, especially if you're doing the bring and buy. There's always going to be queues there.
That was probably the worst of them. Was the bring and buy. Everything else was pretty substantial, to be honest.
Obviously last year we had Lorcana being demoed there. That's
right.
But it was very well managed. It didn't affect anything else around it, which I really appreciated because the queue was managed properly. So there's one thing us Brits know how to do, and that is queue. So let's stick
straight
true.
Out Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Nice one.
Yeah, stick true to what our reputation and queue well. Queue well. This one is a recommendation for me. It's probably a bit late, I guess, for people that are intending on going. But if you can stay close to the venue, I think it is a very, very valid thing to do. Perfect example for me is, say, for example, on day one, you've bought a load of heavy games. Do you really want to lug those heavy games around with you all day? Not really. We personally stay quite close, so I feel like I can take my games back to the room in my hotel, dump them there, and then I can come back. I don't feel like I've missed a lot.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will stay off site, so if you are staying off site, try and have a vehicle, I guess, that you can go back to put the games in your vehicle, but obviously you do run a theft risk leaving stuff in a vehicle. It is an open car park. It's not a monitored car park. So do what you will with that.
And the car park is quite far away from the building as well. So be prepared for a walk if you're doing that as well.
Yep, 100%.
That actually leads me into one of mine.
Okay.
Which is, again, this I would say this is a blanket for any kind of con or expo that you're going to. Plan your transport well in advance.
Yes. We are happily saying that we are now fully prepared. Touch wood. We are touching wood because we are travelling by train.
Yep.
Notorious British transport of choice. So with 28 days to go, obviously we booked the train tickets, or we actually confirmed the train tickets a couple of days previous. Yep.
But we have been watching, looking for strike news, that kind of. It's
like a hawk.
Yeah, keep an eye. We've decided sort of like our hierarchy of how we wanted to go. Like the train was the top. If the train's not possible, then we're doing it. Have an idea, because that kind of hand in hand goes with your accommodation. If you're going for the whole weekend, it's probably no good to get the train if you're staying off site, because the station is miles away from your accommodation.
Yeah,
exactly. Unless you happen to have an accommodation that's near another station. Very, very good advice on that one. We are travelling by train. The UK rail network is plagued with strikes at the moment, so we are going to continue to monitor that. Luckily enough, I have to use the train quite a lot anyway, so I tend to stay on top of it quite a bit.
Phew.
Last year, however, we did get caught out with some strike action, but it was so late and we hadn't been maintaining our viewing of it.
Yep.
And we noticed, I think it was about a week before, so we ended up having to pay for an extra night in the hotel, which nobody really wants to be paying another 70 quid a night, that close to Expo.
Yeah.
That ate into my game money, as far as I'm concerned.
And that goes for if you're planning Essen as well. So there are multiple ways to get there, combined with where you're staying. Plan your transport so you're doing the most efficient, and you don't get cost me. Expos for us is probably a little bit easier because it's in our home country.
Yes.
The last thing you want to do if you're going to an expo out of country where you're not familiar is get stuck.
Yes.
Effectively, oh, I didn't realize my accommodation was so far from the method of transport that I've used to get here. Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, we've with myself and Ant, we're staying, I think it's about 8 miles away from
it's not very
Essen,
far.
isn't it? So, but we are hiring a car. So we are going to be nice and connected. The only thing I need to research is car parking around the venue and stuff like that. So, keep a track of your transport. Obviously, talking about the UK motorways. If you're driving up on the day, I guess, of Friday, if you're planning on being there when it opens, you'll probably be all right for traffic. However, if you're going to be there about lunchtime, it might not be a good idea.
Just you wait for the Saturday when it'll be completely gridlock.
Yeah. And obviously, if you are driving, know that before it starts and at the end, the roads surrounding the venue, surprisingly, will be very busy with cars coming in and out. Because again, I saw that last year, people getting very irate, trying to get out the car park. And it's like, well, everyone's just kicked out at the same time. What did you really expect?
Yeah.
You know, so you don't empty a football stadium and expect it to be empty on the roads outside, do you? And it's the same with these venues. I have one more thing I was going to suggest, and it's not really a suggestion. I think this is the most important one for me, and that is comfy footwear and an extension of that, comfy clothing. So the story with this one for me, my very first expo a few years back, I paid no attention to what people were saying when it came to clothing and the such. I drove up on the day. I was only there for one day. I had a t-shirt on, I had jeans on, I had a hoodie on, I had my bag on my back. I had no food and drinks with me or anything like that. I parked absolutely miles away because I couldn't justify paying the parking. And my God, I was sweltering within minutes of being inside that venue. And I obviously took my hoodie off, but the best I could do was wrap it around my waist.
Yeah.
So I was still ultimately wearing all of this very thick clothing. This year, or even last year, you know, I was in much thinner trousers. I had nothing but a t-shirt. You know, where this year I might even wear shorts. It's that bad. But you know, that comfortable clothing, baggy clothing is definitely the way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the most important thing, if you're not going to listen to anything else,
comfy
shoes.
Yep. You will be on your feet the vast majority of the day.
Yeah, you might get lucky when you sit down and demo some games for a half hour here and there, but for the most part, it's all walking. Lots of miles will be covered in one day.
It's not just that. It's, you got to remember, it's an exhibition hall. The floors are just bare concrete. It's not a soft floor, and you are spending all day walking up and down it. It takes its toll on your legs.
Most definitely.
Yeah. I've definitely kicked into the planning of that already. You know, I actually purchased some new trainers last month. I've been bedding them in now for about a month.
Yeah, I did this. I've had a new pair of trainers for quite a while, but I knew Expo was coming up, so they've been sat in the box while I absolutely destroyed the other pair that I had. I was like, no, a month before Expo, I will get them out and start bedding them in. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I also personally now I have the memory foam insoles, so it's like, again, for extra cushioning for that kind of stuff, and it's just sort of like, because I know I'm going to be spending 12 hours probably on in and around on my feet, unless we end up getting lucky and plonking ourselves at a gaming table for a few. But even then, it's a few hours. You get up, you walk around.
Of course,
you're spending most of the day on your feet. It's comfy shoes.
Yeah. Most important thing. Ant, have you got anything else on your list or?
One last thing. Okay. Obviously, this is a board game convention. Don't be fooled by that, because there are events as well that take place throughout the whole weekend for adults, children, tournaments for adults and children. And if you want to break from board gaming alone, there is usually Friday or Saturday they do comedy shows based around gaming or some type of board game theme to it. Like last year I went and saw Nightmare Live, and it was probably the funniest hour and a half of my life. I laughed so much and was completely worth it. It was only like £10 or something for the night, but it's brilliant. Absolutely had fun with it. And then all three of us did the Unmatched tournament last year.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun as well. So
I enjoyed absolutely getting my butt handed to me.
Well,
in the first round.
you still went and did it though. So, but yeah, just don't be fooled that it's not there just to buy games. There is other stuff there to do as well.
I mean, it's fair to say that these things are geared around people spending money, right?
Yeah.
You're there to buy games, but one of the unique things with regards to the UKGE, it's kind of that halfway between Aircon and Essen, isn't it? Like Essen is buy, no gaming space whatsoever. Yeah. Aircon is gaming exclusively, pretty much. UK Games Expo has that lovely combination of the two. There's plenty of gaming space. It's all about the gaming. Buy the games, go and play them. Really enjoy doing that. I really do hope that they've increased the gaming area this year, because last year was a little bit of an issue, really, when it came to gaming space.
Yeah, if you got the table, you wanted to stay there, or at least someone stay there to keep it. Yeah. So you didn't want to lose that table, did you?
Yeah, exactly.
I remember somebody saying, I think previous years, where the ticket area sign-in was, that whole space was also gaming space, and that was pushed outwards a little bit. I don't know if they just had less space this year, because that third hall can be divided in half, and they had the divider across last year.
I mean, much like the increase in attendance numbers, there's also an increase in vendors every year.
Yeah.
So you get an increase in publishers, increase of designers and what have you.
And I've noticed a few from last year have got bigger ones this year.
Yes.
So
So I'm interested to see what happens. At the time of recording, we still don't have the map.
No, but even Zatu even announced that their thing was bigger this year.
Yeah.
So again, expect bigger, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. And while we don't have the map yet, I hope by the next time we sit down to record that map will be released, so that we can really go through it and sort of say, what we're looking forward to
most definitely.
And stuff like that. So fingers crossed that comes out before we next record. But we're not in control of that. So
this is it, mate.
We're keeping our ears to the ground.
And we'll still have fun regardless.
We will. 100%. But it's 28 days to go. How are you feeling? Are you excited?
As every day goes by, mate, I cannot wait. And it'd be nice to go with you guys as well, because I met with you guys last year and you're like, you're going with us next year. I was like, sweet. And I wasn't even part of Meeple Minded at the time.
You weren't.
So
you weren't.
To actually go with you guys as Meeple Minded is going to be awesome.
Had happened at that point, to be honest. But
no. But to go as actual Meeple Minded representing, all for it, mate.
Have you got your t-shirt ready?
I have 3.
You have 3. Excellent.
One for each day.
Suppose I better get some more.
Represent me.
Yeah, I've got enough. I've got like 5, but I would say a good 4 of them are now degraded to
faded meeple.
They're not in as good a condition as they should be.
But are they comfy? You said to go comfy.
Well, they are comfy, but I think
got like holes on all the sides.
I think a brand new t-shirt, a nice crisp t-shirt that goes in the wash with nothing but softener. 2 weeks of just softening up t-shirts. That'd be good fun.
Yeah.
James, have you got yourself a t-shirt ready?
I have a t-shirt. Yes.
You have one t-shirt.
I have a t-shirt.
Are you going to get some more?
Maybe.
Are you going to beg the hotel staff to wash it for you?
It'd be nice if the company provides for us, really, wouldn't it?
I can't say that. The company did provide mine.
Oh, fair enough.
I got fed up with him not buying one.
Oh, fair enough.
Honestly, this place...
If I send mine back, do you reckon I get the company to send me 3 new ones?
I might do that for you, James. I might get you some. I'll then go and get a really luxurious one with hand-stitcched
hoodie or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you get, all right, we had this conversation. You want to splurge out on you because you're the boss. That's fine.
Indeed. But yes, I think we can head off.
Yeah.
We were actually chatting about that a little bit longer than I thought we would be. So there's some good tips and advice there. James, are you ready?
I am. I think I did quite well there, considering I did 0 planning for this episode.
Yeah, not too bad.
I tell you, I do my best work under pressure.
That is a questionable statement.
We all had good points. Let's hopefully they'll take
sticking to
advice.
It. We'll see how well James actually sticks to his own advice when we're there, shall we? But yeah, if you're happy, I'm happy.
I'm happy.
I think we can bugger off ski for another week.
Let's do it then.
Excellent. So till next week, I have been Jason.
I've been James.
I've been Ant.
And you have been listening to the Meeple Minded podcast. Join us next week for more tabletop gaming goodness, or more specifically, more Expo goodness. Ta-ta and goodbye.